Greetings everybody and welcome to G4G on YouTube. Today we're taking a look at Marvel's Avengers and we're gonna ask the question: does the Black Panther DLC save Marvel's Avengers? And I will tell you that the answer is save is a strong word. For some people, maybe. For some people, maybe not. Kind of all depends on what you're going for. So that's the spoiler alert. But let's go ahead and get into it and talk about it a little bit more. So, as Square and Crystal Dynamics have said, the DLCs for Marvel's Avengers are always going to be free. So that means the DLC is free and the character that you get from it is free. They come in a form called operations. We've had the Hawkeye operation after we had the Kate Bishop operation, which was the first one. There's still talks, obviously, of Spider-Man for the PlayStation owners, as that has been talked about for a long time, and still don't really know hide nor hair of it. I do believe that they said with the Black Panther DLC is that it was actually due out a little earlier. However, due to Chadwick Boseman's death, that didn't wind up happening, so it got delayed. Now, in my opinion, I do actually believe that is for the best, not only to honor his memory a little bit more appropriately, but also due to the fact is that after you get the Kate Bishop operation and the Hawkeye operation, and you could see how they were, you know, okay, pretty solid and everything, it gives you a bit of a deeper appreciation for the Black Panther DLC. Also, as a character, Black Panther stands out because Kate and Hawkeye were relatively close to each other. Oh, I didn't want to do this. This is a Black Panther. This is not the harm training room I was hoping for. Let me see if I can get out of this. Return to the Quinjet. I picked the wrong one. Anyway, Kate and Hawkeye were relatively close to each other, in that they were predominantly ranged characters with a little bit of melee. Now, some people have said that they have done melee builds with those characters and they're still viable and fun. However, you are essentially doing two archer characters, two bow and arrow characters over there. Let's see, not custom. Oh, that's the basics. Okay, this is what I'm looking for. So Black Panther stands out in that he is different from the other two, which is really, really cool. Now, Black Panther as a character, as you're about ready to see once again into the training room, is really a ton of fun. I think this, by far, is the most well-rounded character that they have in the game. I have used Miss Marvel as my main, but she's been parked for a long time because she's such high power. I only use her when I need to bring out a big gun. And then Thor was my secondary main, who I was using to get a little bit better range than Kamala. Kamala and Thor play relatively similar in that they're mostly melee based, except Thor does have a little bit better ranged. Black Panther comes in as really so well balanced overall, and hopefully waiting for the potato to settle in a little bit here. He really comes in as a very heavily melee focused character. However, I think his ranged is the best in the game because it creates stagger points on enemies so easily. It's not even funny, and I'll try and show you that in this harm room over here. So when you first bring up the range, you bring up his daggers. If you just throw them by right triggering, he just throws the dagger. If you press it quickly, he goes into a spread. I have it talented that the last dagger is actually the homing one in the spread. If you hold the buttons down, he gets the Kapinga dagger, and then it actually homes in, and then if you hold it again, it sends the second one right after it. This is, I think, honestly, the best ranged in the game, and I'll see if I can get a mob where I can show you this. Well, that's shielded, so hold on a second. Look at how quickly I have staggered that robot over here. That is super fast, and to be able to do that at range when perhaps you're trying to be safe. I mean, look at that stagger meter. Yes, Thor is beating on him too, but that is predominantly Black Panther who is doing that. Here's another example. So this, well, he's just about dead, and Black Widow's on him. There we go. Got him in. It's, for such a melee-focused character, it's amazing to watch his range do such a phenomenal job. Let's see if I can isolate somebody here away from... Oh, there we go. Alright. So, well, he's getting attacked. Let's see if I can get the dude who's up here. There he is. Or he disappeared. Okie dokie. Alright, so there's the guy, and a shield bubble over here. So even these adaptoids, you can see how quickly the stun meter is building up on one of those. So this guy who's half in, half out of the shield here, I mean, that is phenomenally fast. And to be able to do that at range, to kind of manage your own health, or just manage the distance between you and a really annoying mob who maybe throws out a quick laser, or has got some really disgusting in close melee, Black Panther does it fairly well. So these guys are the phase guys. You have to kind of dodge them when they come in, then attack them afterwards, otherwise they just phase out. So Black Panther himself is really definitely worth the price of admission. The Black Panther DLC, the actual area for Wakanda, is truly, I think, the best area in the game. The future Imperfect Wasteland is okay, and it certainly was interesting for... See, look at that. Basically, like, 3 hits, and he's staggered. The future Imperfect Wasteland for Maestro was very interesting because it was the first one of its type that was so different. However, when you compare to Wakanda, literally nothing compares to Wakanda. The whole area is absolutely gorgeous. When you are doing the Wakanda missions and you are out in the jungle ambiance is phenomenal. Bryn Azur, the capital of Wakanda, which is the hub of Wakanda, is phenomenal. The aesthetics are beautiful. It is a very, very well laid out hub, and it is easy to navigate once you get used to it. The Shield and Inhuman faction little terminal does 2 in 1. So you're not running around getting your dailies from the Inhuman one or getting your dailies from the Shield one. You just go to the one terminal and they're both there, which I found to be really cool. Black Panther's skins are diverse enough that you're probably really going to find skins that you like, whether you go for the more comic aesthetic, or there is even a skin that is relatively close to his MCU skin. As for, so what you don't see there is the reason why everything has gone gold is you've gone through the shield. I think it's a shame that they don't show you that. Otherwise you just get a flash of light and you go through. Through this door over here is actually a witch doctor.
Well,
There is sometimes a chest in here you can open up and some people to talk to. This is also the area where a lot of Easter eggs have been happening, where people have gone in and heard him talking to Scarlet Witch and Loki. So that is going to be really interesting. The terminal, right over here. That is your shield and your human one. This vendor, I think, is really great. Wow. I like talking to him. I like the voice actor. The non-dedicated Black Panther slots have been really good to me down here. The ones in the upper section, there's 3 today. I have found that there are definitely a bunch of times where he only has like 1, and it actually took quite a while to find it. Which has been a little bit strange to, you know, I'm on Black Panther, I'm in Wakanda, and there's 1 Black Panther piece of gear up here. Down here, though, I've always had a lot of really good luck finding gear. As a matter of fact, that currently equipped 121 chest was a purchase. And these gloves were purchased too, and it looks like there's yet another upgrade. No, I take that back. That's a downgrade. Yeah, these are downgrades. But just last night, there were upgrades on this vendor over here. As for Black Panther's skills, to go back and talk to that. By the way, this is the new UI. Everything is compacted into one. You have your outfits and your emotes up top, gear and artifacts in the middle, challenge card, takedowns, and comics. Over here is your skills. And this is actually where I wanted to be. Right now, my Black Panther has been leveled up enough that his first 2 pages are done, and I am almost done with the masteries and getting really, really close to the champion. So here we're going to do ranged upgrade. Let's see what we've got. Increase stun damage. While aiming the Kapinga daggers, mark up to 2 targets with the reticle. I like that. Increase the effect of the devastating dagger debuff and the duration. Actually, I like that. So, for his heroics and his ultimate, he has the Kimoyo beads, which target enemies and almost guarantee that you'll get takedowns off of them. If you hold the button down, you can have support beads, which allows him to act as a pretty good healer, puts out those little drones that you see. He has a spear for King's Mercy that does a pin like Thor's hammer. And his ultimate heroic is to summon Bast, the Panther Goddess, who runs through enemies and marks them with the Mark of the Beast, meaning you do more damage on them. This is not the heroic to believe you are invincible, though. Unlike a bunch of others, like, say, Kamala, who really can super dish it out during her heroic, you still actually have to be a little delicate with your Black Panther. You cannot fully believe that you're just going to charge through there and be invincible. And then you have some updates on the mastery, which will change things a little bit. If we look at his primary skills, he has the Kapinga daggers, which I showed you. That's the remote, or the seeking ones. And the devastating daggers is his default, where he goes into the single target ones, and then relentless daggers are the ones that break into the spread. The reason why he's such a well-balanced character is not only are the daggers good for setting up staggers, they actually weaken the enemy's hit with that little purple so that you do increased melee damage to them. So if you're not looking for the stagger, you can hit people with the daggers just to soften them up to make your melee do more damage. If you're running with a team, or you've got some good AI teammates with you, and a lot of them are in-close brawlers like Thor and Kamala, there's nothing wrong with staying in the back and just pelting people with daggers and letting them get softened up. Now, let's complete a little bit more of the tour of the capital over here. So, you have the store, and you have your shaman witch doctor dude downstairs. What is super cool about this is that if you go through this door, you can go to his throne and sit on it. And then if you go through the other door over here is actually where you will get to the war table. So it is ridiculously easy to navigate. And there is an outer loop to the left and to the right over here that takes you to all the other upstairs places. So it's really, really tough to get lost. Alright, now let's take a look at something really quick on the war table. You'll see that Wakanda actually brings a decent amount of space for new missions. They're not anything particularly new, as you'll have villains, you'll have sabotages, assaults, all the standard fare. You can see here, that's an elimination threat, and so it definitely does give you a new area to go ahead and do quests and dailies in. Now, the actual story itself, like I said, I think it is the best operation that they've done. You truly feel the weight of Black Panther's character throughout his set of missions and everything, his plot and his story. You really feel him trying to go through being both a warrior and a king. And, you know, I won't spoil the end of the plot for you if you haven't seen it, but you do get a little bit of a surprise ending in how everything wraps up and what Black Panther chooses to do. So it is definitely worth it playing through the entire operation to see the plot. The environments for Wakanda when you're out in the field are absolutely beautiful. It is a resource farm. You can find so many resources when you're out in the field because they are all over the place. And then you have a new kind of resource that allows you to break it open and get healing orbs, which is pretty good. And they're pretty consistent about it. So you can maintain a relatively good health level while you are going through the operation missions. I will say the final one in which you were dealing with Claw, the very final mission, was a absolute bitch. It was a total bitch of a mission, top to bottom, and it checks a whole bunch of reasons as to why. The traversal elements in that particular mission were super rough. They absolutely were very tight and very spot on. By the way, this is one of the new style, the corrupted vibranium threat. It's not one I've actually gone through yet because you don't go through it during the mission. You encounter corrupted vibranium, but you don't specifically have a mission that deals with it as its main topic. So I'm going to launch it real quick so just you can see what the jungle environment is like. As I was saying, the traversals in the final mission are really tough, really spot on, really super precise. Black Panther has a little bit of a cheat in that he actually has a triple jump.
We are getting reports of more Wakandan tech turning on Wakandans, but I don't think that is all close men are up to in the area. I have had word that a certain particle cannon may have been rebuilt. We can't let that stand.
So that's Shuri who's talking. And right now I'm loading in with my Kamala and my Thor, which is my best two characters aside from Black Panther, and a Black Widow, who is probably my third best. I do tend to run with some of the archers because they have good healing skills. But Kamala and Black Panther can get it done themselves. So the traversals are tight, and the boss battle with Claw is really tough because you kind of don't know what you're doing with it. When you go through the different phases, if you wipe at any point, you go back to the beginning of the fight, even if he literally had 10 hit points left. And that can be pretty tough. Some of the traversals, when you're going through to get to him, if you die, you actually get put forward. Sometimes you get put all the way back. So I'll show you Black Panther's little triple jump over here. That's a bit of a semi-well-known secret. But typically, if you jump and jump again, there's the double jump. 1, 2. A couple people have it. Captain Rogers has it, and some others. 1, 2. But if you need to get a little bit of distance, and sometimes it's very needed on the Wakanda missions because they're so traversal heavy, 1, 2, heavy attack. I'll kind of give you an example jumping off something. So if you need a little distance, 1, 2, heavy attack, and then he goes even further. Running 1, 2. He doesn't get higher, but it is definitely a good way to get more distance on the jump. I picked up this little tidbit off of Reddit. A poster did it. So 1, 2, heavy attack, and then he makes that jump. You're not going to make that any other way. So doing it again, we'll just do a double. 1, 2. See, he's short and has to catch. So that's just a fun little hidden thing in the character there that they don't quite tell you. It's just you're using the mechanics. The sound in the jungle levels is great. The enemies can definitely be tough, and this is where the Wakanda stuff has continued to annoy people somewhat. The Sonic debuff basically treats you as if you're goddamn Daredevil. If you get the Sonic debuff on you, you will think you are nearly blind. You basically have a slight pinhole in your vision, and everything around it is gray and clouded. You have a debuff that can be put on you from enemies, or you have Sonic drones that follow you and hover around your head and keep you debuffed until you kill them. The only way to do it is to get lucky with your daggers and smack them as they're around you, because they're so hard to see. That Sonic debuff a lot of people hate. It may get nerfed in the future because it is so bad. But now the million-dollar question as I close out the video. Does the Black Panther DLC save the game? Is it enough to make people keep playing? Is it enough to make people who stopped come back? And is it enough to bring in new people? That's really the key questions over here. Keeping people playing, I'm going to say wholeheartedly, yes. Absolutely, the story, the mission, will bring people back. Continuing to play it after you're done with the mission, and Black Panther as a character, will keep people playing. It'll bring them back. It'll probably keep them playing if they come back. If you max out a Black Panther and you go through his set of missions, will you continue playing afterwards? I'm probably going to say yes, because I believe Black Panther is definitely that fun, and I can see how he can be people's mains very easy. By the way, this is the one that I think comes closest to the MCU. No, not Ascension. Hold on a second. This one over here. I think this one comes about as close to MCU as you're going to get for now. We may eventually get an MCU suit. I think they would be stupid not to do it. They've done it with the others. People are definitely already clamoring for it. I think we absolutely should see it, and I think there's a few skins that would be a good basis for it. I really think Shadow Physics can be modified just slightly to get a MCU skin over here. And there's such a variety between the ones that you can purchase and the ones on his card, his like little battle pass thing. I definitely think you'll find something, and they honestly give you a pretty decent skin. The Misasarki over here was a good free skin. I see nothing wrong with it. Whether this expansion will bring in new people or bring back the hardcore quitters that really left this game because they were so disillusioned, I would say if 50% is the middle of yes and no and 50% is kind of a maybe, I honestly would give this about a 75% chance that it would bring in new people and bring people back and have them continue to play. The game still has its issues. Let's be honest, the game still deals with the bugs it has always dealt with. The prices on these suits are still high. I just recently got into a Reddit war with somebody who basically said that these transactions in this shop fund continued development of the game, And a person replied and said, no, that's a very gun-to-the-head way of thinking about it. If you're not using the marketplace, the game's going to be wrapped up and it'll die. That's what the original poster said, that if you're not paying for this stuff, the progress on the game's going to die, and then everybody's going to be upset. A reply came in and said, no, that's a very gun-to-the-head way of thinking, and it says that their E3 presentation, that there won't be like paid DLCs and everything, makes it a lie. It's just burying it in a maze, the hedge maze from The Shining, basically. I'm in agreement with that. This cash shop is ridiculously expensive. $1,400 for an outfit, 2 of them combined, is about $30. For $30, you could get the entirety of the Borderlands 2 Season Pass, which gave you 4 expansions, a new character, new levels. I mean, to think of the comparison difference between this game and what you get for $30 and Borderlands 2, just as an example, is not even a question. The bugs are still prevalent. In my claw fight, the sound locked up on my Xbox, so it was going, and then just near the end of the fight, in its final phase, it totally froze. So yeah, unfortunately, you're still going to get mobs inside walls, inside doors, and other environmental pieces where hopefully AoE will get them. Black Panther's not going to be able to do it. You need like a Thor for it. Those bugs still exist, and that may be enough to keep people away. But I think Black Panther is definitely enough to have people come back and at least try it. Do what I did. Get through the Wakanda missions. Get through the operation. Push a Black Panther really far in his levels and gear. And then answer the question yourselves. I think it could keep people playing. I really enjoyed it. I look at some of these skins, and there's definitely ones that I would like to try. I kind of am really curious as to why he doesn't have an emote. Like, he starts the game without an emote, even though he has a takedown or 2. That is really disappointing when you're sitting around in the Wakandan tram cars and you have nothing to do. By the way, they feel very Dead Space. When you take the little trams from section to section, they remind me of Dead Space a lot. But overall, yeah, really great expansion, really great aesthetics in the capital, really great aesthetics in the jungle missions, awesome ambiance. The mobs are different with some of the shields that they have that need to be busted by sonic and vibranium weapons, but the sonic debuff is the worst goddamn thing in the world. If you wanted a blind simulator or play as Daredevil, it is absolutely the sonic debuff. But Black Panther is a phenomenal character, and I'm glad we had to wait to get this character, because if we got this character ahead of Hawkeye and Kate, I think you would have had a lot of disappointed people out there. So I think this is a good thing. I don't know where we'll go from here. I'm hoping PlayStation people get their Spider-Man soon. I think that would be a good character after Black Panthers. BP was so unique, and Spider-Man will be quite unique from what we've got. They just really need to avoid doing samey characters again. Don't give us another melee-focused guy like this. Spider-Man's probably going to have a lot of similarities in the agility section, but I would imagine he would hit a little less hard and almost be even more agile than Black Panther and have hopefully phenomenal traversals and also very good range. So that's my take on the War for Wakanda DLC from Marvel's Avengers. Hope you liked the video. If you don't own the game, try to get it on a sale because the DLCs are free. So you can absolutely jump right into Black Panther and play them. If you are a lapsed player, yeah, you definitely should come back and try War for Wakanda and play around with Black Panther. And if you're a continued player, I hope you aren't stymied by the bugs and can continue to play. Thanks, everybody. Have a good one.